everybody. We're getting ready to do some firewood processing. The first log that I pulled off the pile is this obnoxious thing right here. So, I don't know how well it's going to go. I might only get down to about here, and that might have to come off, I'm not sure. We'll see. That's a pretty big chunk. So I only put the one log on here for the moment, instead of loading up the whole deck, and that way if I have to pull this off, it won't be a problem to come in with the tractor and grab it. Alright, so the hydraulics have been warming up for about 10 minutes now. I refilled the bar oil, put some gasoline in it, we're ready to get cranking. So let me go ring this thing up and we'll see what we can do with this log. If you noticed how that last piece cut, You saw it was probably cutting really slow. Didn't cut very well. This chain I've sharpened by hand probably 3 or 4 times. I think I'm going to just swap it out for a brand new chain. It's easier to swap this out with a new chain, and then since I've hand sharpened that, I'll take this one and I'll put that on the bench grinder and sharpen it with the bench grinder instead. And that'll give me a more consistent chain, and I'll adjust the rakers and everything, and I'll do that on the bench. I don't really like doing that up here. It's too fiddly to mess with the rakers up here to get them just right. So doing that on the bench will be a lot better. So I'm just going to scrape some of the crud off of here before I take it off. That's frozen crud. It warmed up a bit today. It's like 35 degrees, so they weren't kidding when they said it was going to warm up. It's quite a bit of change. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that the bar is completely retracted, and that makes removing the chain and reinstalling a whole lot easier. Yeah, this chain's in pretty good shape. It's got a lot of life left in it. Well, maybe that tooth doesn't. But yeah, this will be better if I put it on the bench grinder. It'll cut better. So for now, we're gonna give it a new chain. I'm scraping all the smuck off of here. But a lot of it was frozen on here, so I'm just trying to get some of this crud off here like this. Okay. I'm going to do the same to this, the motor. Yeah, there's a lot of crud on here. Try to get this out of the shaft area on the motor. You periodically need to do that. You don't want that building up in there and then causing the bearings in there to fail. I don't know, it's pretty this thing's pretty tough. All right, one of the things I did when I went down to the shop was I cleaned out the bar. I had to clean, you have to clean the groove, and you have to make sure that the oil holes that go through here, got to make sure they're nice and clean. And I cleaned the groove, and there was some wear on the bar, so I filed that down a little bit. It could use a little bit more attention, which I will do later. But in the meantime, I'm going to put the bar upside down, and what that does is it helps even up the wear. Right now we're going to wipe off the mounting surface so we don't have any dirt get sandwiched in between, so we don't want that. And we're going this way, so the chain has to go that way. Okay, so lay that right there. We'll get the motor up on here. All right, now the trick is, and I'm sorry, it's hard for me to show you this because it's such a cramped space and I need both hands. So maybe later what I'll do is I'll put my my chest rig on for the camera, and maybe we can see this work a little bit better. But what I'm doing now is I'm pulling the chain so that I have enough room to slide this over the sprocket of the motor.
5 minutes later.
So here's a question for you guys that cut a lot of wood. Can logs freeze? So for instance, that pile of logs over there that I just got a few weeks ago, freshly cut, and then since then the temperatures have been below freezing. So does that mean that the moisture in these logs is now frozen, and are they harder to cut that way? So maybe somebody with much more logging experience could answer that question for me. I tend to think yes, and the reason I say that is because there's some specifications in chains, the saw chains, and the sharpening dimension or sharpening angles, where they discuss frozen wood. So maybe that is a thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay, we're all set. I'm going to get the machine started up again, and we're going to cut some wood, and then I'm going to zoom through this pretty quick. Since you've all seen it before, I might stop if I get an unusual piece or a gnarly piece that gives me trouble. I might stop and talk about a few things. Otherwise, we're going to crank through this. I wanted to talk about cycle time with this machine. According to the documentation, the cycle time is 7 seconds for cut and split. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some cutting and splitting, and while I'm editing my video, I'm going to put a timer in there on a couple of occasions so you can see how fast this machine can split. Okay, that's it for this round. Now we have to go dump the trailer, and then tomorrow we're going to start again. Thank you for watching. We'll see you later.